guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in Germany, and this video today is going to be a remake of a video that I posted last week on my channel where I shared my honest opinion, my views on the German school system. And a lot of you have been messaging me asking, where did that video go? Did I take it down? Did YouTube take it down? The truth is I actually took that video down myself. I didn't entirely delete it, I just put it on private. Because after posting that video, I was absolutely bombarded with comments from you guys about your views on the German school system. Most of these comments came from Germans who had actually been through the German school system, who had a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge on this topic. And I realized that I actually had left out a lot of really valid, really important information in regards to the school system. I think I only had that video up for about half an hour, and I probably had about 1,000 views on that video in that time. So a lot of you had seen the video, and I really did not feel comfortable about keeping that video up knowing that I had missed out some really valid points. I definitely don't think that the information I presented in that video was wrong, but I just don't think I gave you the full picture, and I still stand by what I spoke about in this video. But since reading some of your comments, I don't know, it really opened up my mind, and I kind of am looking at the German school system in a different light right now, and I want to thank you guys so much for your comments. Okay, so if you saw my last video, you'll know that I don't entirely agree with some aspects of the German school system. And I'm not talking about the quality of education, because the quality of education here in Germany is really, really great. There's a really high quality of education. I'm talking about the structure of the German school system, and I actually learnt about the German school system long before I had any connection with Germany. I hadn't met my German husband yet, I hadn't visited Germany. I actually learnt about the German school system in university in New Zealand. I was actually training to be a high school teacher. I was in a lecture, and we were learning about the school systems all around the world. I specifically remember learning about the German school system, and I remember feeling quite shocked and quite disheartened about what I learnt. And I remember my whole entire class, including my teacher, also felt the same way. And we all felt that it was quite an unfair school system. We actually learnt that the German school system is quite different from a lot of school systems around the world because it is a 3-stream school system. So children in Germany don't start school till they're around 6.5, which is a whole year later than they start school in New Zealand. And when I say school, I mean primary school, as we say in New Zealand. In Germany you call it Grundschule, and in America elementary school. And before that, the children, most of them go to kindergarten, and kindergartens in Germany are very play-based. There's not a big emphasis on academics. It's all about sort of play and exploration and creativity, which is something I really, really love, and I think it's important for children to be children for as long as possible. But in Germany, when children start school, a lot of them are put under a huge amount of pressure to perform academically. And the reason for this is because Germany has a 3-stream school system. So after 4 years at primary school, when children are around 10, they are actually separated into 3 different schools. And this is basically based on their academic performance, but there are quite a few factors that are taken into consideration, which I will get into a little bit later in the video. Okay, so for the children that do really well academically, that are very studious, very focused, they get put into the gymnasium, which is kind of like the elite school, the grammar school. The gymnasium gives these students the opportunity at the end of their schooling to take their Abitur, which is kind of like a pathway into university. So basically the children who are streamed into the gymnasium are put on a career path to become doctors, lawyers, engineers, vets, dentists, you know, and they are labelled as intelligent, and you know, they're going to go places. And then for the children who maybe don't perform as well academically, they are streamed into the Realschule. So basically if you were streamed into the Realschule at the age of 10, you are put sort of on a career path which focuses more on maybe doing some kind of a trade rather than going to university. I do know that if you are put into the Realschule and you really are focused and you want to go to university, then there are ways of doing that. You can skip to the gymnasium, there are pathways to do that. But basically, if you're streamed into the Realschule, you are put on a career path that doesn't really involve university. They're basically saying university is probably not for you, you should focus on something else. And then there is the Hauptschule, and the children who struggle academically, that aren't so academically driven, they are streamed into the Hauptschule. And in the Hauptschule, they have the same subjects as the gymnasium, the Realschule, but it's just taken at a much slower pace so these children can keep up. And basically, these children are told that they should focus on a career path that doesn't involve university, maybe working in a shop or, I don't know, working in a factory or something like that. And that's kind of the career path that they are put on. A lot of the children that end up in the Hauptschule, they are from immigrant backgrounds, and also a lot of children with learning disabilities end up in the Hauptschule. And I know that there are schools in Germany that are especially for children with learning disabilities, but a lot of them do end up in the Hauptschule. And along with that, just children that struggle in general academically. And honestly, guys, this is where I have a huge problem with the German school system. I'm not talking about the quality of education, as I've mentioned, I'm talking about the structure of the school system. I believe that 10 is much too young to determine a child's future. I do not believe that children at the age of 10 should be separated and labelled. I know that it is not the intention of the German school system to make children feel bad, but by splitting children up and labelling them at such an early age, this is really, really damaging, and I really feel that 10 is far too young to be putting a child on a career path. But something that I actually wanted to talk about, and I learned this from you guys, from your comments on my last video, is the fact that these career paths, they are not set in stone for these children, that there definitely is ways to jump from the Hauptschule to the gymnasium, the Realschule to the gymnasium. It is definitely possible, and it happens quite regularly in Germany. And once you're put in the Hauptschule, you're not there like stuck in the Hauptschule. There is ways for you to move to the Realschule. Also, in certain states in Germany, there is a school that combines the Hauptschule and the Realschule. So it was great to learn that. But the thing is, even though there are chances for the children in the Hauptschule or the Realschule to get their Abitur, to go to university, it is a much harder, much more complicated, longer path to get there. And as I mentioned in the last video, one of the reasons why I feel so passionate about the subject is that I honestly believe that if I had grown up in Germany, I probably most likely would have been put in the Hauptschule, maybe the Realschule, but probably the Hauptschule, because I struggled academically at school. I was a late bloomer. And the reason for this is because I have a learning disability called dyslexia, and I really struggled academically. I have a very different learning style. My dyslexia did not stop me from going to university. I did very well at university. I got top marks. I never did well under pressure. I never did well in tests until I was older and I had worked out my own learning style. And sometimes children, it takes them quite a while to kind of blossom academically, if that makes sense. And a lot of children, they don't do well under pressure, they don't do well, you know, in testing, and I feel like these children are at a significant disadvantage. And if anyone knows anything about dyslexia, dyslexics, they have normal to high intelligence. I'm not saying I'm highly intelligent, I'm just average, but I'm definitely not dumb. I'm very lucky that I was given the opportunity to attend university and I was able to live up to my potential. And another thing that I have a problem with is the fact that so many children with immigrant backgrounds are put into the Hauptschule, and they're put all together and they are not immersing into the German culture. And I hear so many Germans complaining about the fact that foreigners come to Germany and they're not integrating into German culture. And I think this all starts at school age. Why are all of these children being plonked into the Hauptschule together and they're not being immersed with other German children? And I feel like that is also a problem in the school system. The teachers actually have a lot to say about what school the child is streamed into, as well as the parents of the children. So there's basically 3 things that are taken into consideration: the academic performance, you know, how the teacher feels the child is performing, and what school they feel the child would fit into, and also the parents. And of course, the parents who are very driven and motivated and want their children to, you know, go to university and become doctors and lawyers, etc., they are going to be really preparing their children. I've heard that a lot of parents fight for their children to get into the gymnasium. And this can also be a problem because a lot of children that are streamed into the gymnasium can't actually keep up with this crazy amount of work, this huge workload that is required of them when they are in the gymnasium. And they really, really struggle, and they have a very unhappy school experience because they just can't keep up with the work, and it's more their parents' dream for them to go to university and not their dream. I was actually hearing a lot of success stories about children who were originally placed in the Gesamtschule and then later on went on to become doctors or engineers. So it definitely is possible. It's definitely possible. But doesn't this go to show that you shouldn't be labeling a child at such a young age? Some of you told me that you also have dyslexia and that you know people with dyslexia who were placed in the gymnasium and that did really, really well in the gymnasium and later on went to university. That was really nice to hear. And that Germany really, really supports children with learning disabilities, and that a lot of the children are given extra time in testing and that type of thing, it was really, really nice to hear. There are definitely very positive aspects about the German school system. I just don't like the early splitting up of the children. That's what I really have a problem with, and the labeling of the children at such an early age. I know that the school system in Germany is a very complex subject, and I feel like I've only probably just touched on the subject. I just feel like every child who is a German citizen should be given an equal opportunity to succeed. And I also wanted to mention that you do not have to go to university to have a great career in Germany. There are a lot of other paths you can take that don't involve university. And one thing I love about Germany is that there are so many opportunities to do apprenticeships, to train in careers. Just because a child is placed into the Hauptschule, it doesn't mean they can't have a great career. It doesn't mean that they can't train and, you know, do an apprenticeship to become a builder or an electrician or a plumber. These are all, you know, really important careers. I just think Germany could really benefit from changing that whole streaming system and giving every child or every young adult the opportunity to take their Abitur if they want to. And that's not to say that everybody is going to pass and everybody is going to make it into university. You know, you have to really, really work hard to get there. But I think that every person should be able to have the opportunity to go to university if they choose. So anyway, guys, that's about all I have to say on that subject. And I know that the German school system is extremely complex, and honestly, feel free to share your views, and if you don't agree with me, please tell me why you don't agree with me. I really love getting your comments. If you think I've missed out any important information, please tell me in the comments. Please share your experience in the German school system. I'd love to hear it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I know that a lot of you watch my videos, but you're not yet subscribed to my channel, so I would love you to subscribe, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.